Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Conversations. I am here with Miss Jamice Bentley-Terry. Hello, and I'm also here with Benreel Johnson. These are two fantastic creative artists. I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about what they do. Miss Jamice, let's go with
I am a business owner. I own Chic Culture Inc. boutique, which is a clothing boutique. We do carry men and women's clothing. And I also do some styling, personal styling. And they call me the visionary. Some people do.
you.
I shy away from that name, but that's what I hear. And I feel like I curate, the culture here in the store. So
This is your store that we're filming in today.
yes,
A lot of beautiful creative pieces. You have a lot of designers featured here.
yes.
Walking into the store for the first time, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Looking at the
Oh,
decor and everything, all of the art. So it's fantastic.
no, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Ben, can you tell us about your business?
I have a business called Delete My Number. Started as a clothing brand, joke on Facebook, turned it to a clothing brand. I ventured off, went on the entrepreneur path after that. I DJ'd, I did a little photography, and I started throwing events. So yeah, so yeah.
You both met each other through your creative artist entrepreneurship and idea and visionary ways. What was the first event that you two collaborated on?
The first event we did was a mixer here at the store. It was
Nice.
called Save My Number Mixer. Uh, and we also do an event called Chic.
Chicnique.
So that's like our big event that we've had in the works. We did it. This will be the second year that we'll be doing it next year. So,
Nice.
and we did a pop up shop.
Pop up shop.
Yep,
Some
we
pop
did.
up shops. Yeah. What would you say was the moment where you realized that you wanted to go in the, I want to say, creative arts entrepreneurial route?
I think that I've always known I love fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Probably as a little girl,
Mm-hmm.
but when I realized like I really want to pursue this was probably about 2007. Probably about 2007,
2007.
and I moved to Macon from Florida in 2009. And I was like, well, I just got to work. I just got to make money.
Right.
So that's just a dream. And then I lost that job, and it was like, I felt like I was doing everything I could to stay in that job.
Mm-hmm.
But God was like, no, like it's time. So when I lost it, I was like, okay, I just got to jump in fully
Yeah.
and just do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to start. And so probably I would say I realized it in '07.
In '07.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you,
Well, as the joke started on Facebook, it happened. I like to say it happened after a breakup, but it kind of was just humor. You know what I'm
Ben?
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like people were asking me, you should. It went. They started going viral, and people was like, you should put that on the shirt. Or I actually have one on today, but you should make hoodies. And it was wintertime, so so I did it, and that was around 2018, maybe
2018.
2018, 2021. Like that was the start. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not
yeah,
too long ago. You got to
not
show,
too long.
you kind of show your
Oh,
shirt. You
I'm
got to
sorry.
show your brand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There it is.
But yeah, so different things came from it, like pants and all the stuff. And Jamice actually helped me with a lot of it, so a
Yeah.
lot of my vision. So
No, Jamice is totally a visionary.
yeah,
One of the things that I think as creative artists, which I think it can be hard sometimes to figure out what the path is to create that vision that you want, because sometimes it's not always so cookie cutter, or
Hmm.
maybe somebody has not done it yet. You're usually the pioneer for the vision that you want to pursue for yourself. because it's about like that fulfillment and creating that space and bringing yourself out into the world and showing your light the way you want to through your vision, through your fashion, through your music, through events and things like that. Do you feel like it can be difficult sometimes to go through that process in your mind of like, okay, what is my first step that I need to do to walk this path of being truthful and truly fulfilled in my life by doing that creative thing? Because it's a little, I feel like it's a little different when it's in the arts, because there's so many different ways and so many other things that you have to kind of consider. So, like,
Right.
how do you, even before you actually started this journey of entrepreneurship or freelancing, just taking that, what would you say was one of the first conversations you had to have with yourself in your mind to know that yes, I can do this.
Oh boy, that's all. It's always hard jump starting. Um, but it was do I want to for me
Mm-hmm.
do I want to leave here unfulfilled
Mm.
of the thing that is so like jumping out of my body to be seen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, and obviously no. I want to be able to leave here empty.
Right.
So okay, what do we do? How do we get started? Let's just we are is right now, of course, it's 2024, but even
Right.
then it was like it's we have everything at our fingertips.
Yes.
Let's Google, let's research,
Mm-hmm.
let's figure out okay, let's look at Instagram, let's look at Facebook. What are people doing? How are people getting their clothing in?
Right.
Do we want to go ahead, because at that time I had a business partner,
Mm-hmm.
do we want to go ahead and start sewing, which we both want, we're
Want to
had a
say,
desire to do.
yeah.
Do we want to design our own clothes, or do we want to start with just let's just jump out there and get a name, let's brand it, let's go through all the legalities of it, and let's do it. So it's basically just is it what is our end goal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we love clothes, but what does that mean? Because you can do all kind of things with clothes.
Right.
Okay, so I love music. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to sing? Am I a singer? Do I have vocals?
Right.
For me, probably not. But I love music. But I just want to DJ? Do I want to just pick up an instrument? Do I want to
Right.
learn how to play this? What do I want to do? And you figure out what your real passion is and just start there.
Right.
Just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't put too much thought into it. Just do the thing that comes naturally to you. For me, I started off styling because it was just something that was natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
People would just ask me like, "Hey, could you help me put this together?" And so, okay, cool. I'll come and help you, not knowing like,
That's
oh,
so
this is like
cool.
a whole business. So it just kind of organically will pull at you. Whatever it is that is your passion, it will happen organically,
Right.
more than likely. And then once you're there, how do I monetize this?
Exactly.
There's no way they can get all of my time, my resources, taken away from home, coming here.
Right.
So let's figure out how to monetize it. Same thing with DJing. I love playing music. Let me figure out how to monetize this. Who
Right.
do I talk to? What clubs do I talk to? What can I get on the radio? What do I need to do?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you just kind of start there. From
Exactly.
in my mind,
That was where you started.
that's where it happened.
What do you have to do first? What about you, Ben?
Well, mine was more so, like I said, through social media. I had already kind of built or organic like buzz, and so it was a little easier when I actually did decide to do like the clothing brand and stuff like that. But my motivation just my mom, my mom passing, and that's still my motivation to
Yeah.
this day. Just trying to make a product.
Yeah.
So,
Make a profit.
mm,
Yeah. That's it's so interesting and so beautiful the process of coming to a deeper understanding of yourself. because you know in every phase of our life we have different hurdles and things we go through, different experiences, but like certain experiences will catapult you or push you into doing the thing you're supposed to do, and sometimes it's like it doesn't always look like, well, how am I going to do that? But there's something, that inner calling, there's some event, something happened, and like you're saying with your mom, it's pushing you, continuously motivating you to be who God created you and you were birthed into this earth to be. You know what I mean? So there's something so beautiful about being aware of that. You know, um, can you think of a time where you were kind of being nudged into the direction? Maybe initially, maybe you heard it. You felt the push originally to kind of start taking some steps towards what you really wanted, but maybe you didn't do it. Like, is there a time that you can remember where you're like, man, I should have. That was maybe my first sign.
Hmm. That's a good one. You wanna? I don't particularly have a particular nudge. I'll say.
Mhm.
I just knew that I was doing the right thing, more so because of the success. I guess that I was at the time. It just kept me going.
Let's go back to that part right there, because I know you said before you started your brand, you kind of already had an organic audience.
Mhm.
So what were you doing prior to starting your band and your brand that created that organic audience?
Okay, so it was just jokes. Like I just be on social media making jokes, and
Ah, okay.
that caught. Said yada yada yada, delete my number, whatever it was, and it just caught.
Mm.
And so it was more so mind blowing, kind of for me, for people to actually be like, well, you put this on a clothing line brand, and then we'll buy, and then just how it happened. I like to say that actually it's like she just went to heaven and just dropped a blessing on me. That's kind of how I
Mm.
felt.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so that was the nudge, I
That was
guess,
the
for
nudge.
me.
And you were doing it just for you. You weren't really looking at it to gain attention necessarily. It was just something you were doing. You were just putting that content out.
It was just something I was doing. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Comedian. See, now I learned something new today about that.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then you were also doing the party promoting,
Hmm.
and that kind of helped with that too, because now people know your face in the
But yeah,
area.
that came after. Yeah.
That came
So,
after.
but that was a joy too. That was a real joy, just getting people in one place and seeing everybody having a good time. Um, from you know what I'm saying, you gathering people together. So it was a
Exactly.
joy. Yeah, it was.
Exactly. Exactly. What about you, Janice?
Repeat the question.
Well, can you think of a time where you felt like you were being nudged, but
Oh,
maybe you didn't listen
yeah,
to that nudge
yeah,
the first time?
yeah. It was high school.
High school. Okay.
It was high school. I was designing people's prom dresses.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I designed my prom dress. I
Wow.
designed my friends' prom dresses. Um, and it was just I would sketch it. I sketched everybody's, and we were getting them made already. Like we already knew we were getting custom dresses. We're not going like us getting dresses out, like
I'm
yeah,
designing
we're
something.
gonna
Yeah.
no, we'll get somebody to make it. But I started sketching them, and I just gave everyone their sketches. They went and got them done. Um, and then again, when I got married, I sketched out what I wanted. I designed my wedding dress.
Nice.
Like I probably
Okay.
never say that to people, but yeah,
You designed it.
yeah. So I sketched it out and I gave it to the lady who always does all of our stuff, who is a fantastic designer in Fort Lauderdale,
Nice.
named Dion by way of Jamaica. So she had her
Okay.
own clothing line
Hmm.
in Jamaica, but she was in Fort Lauderdale and she did all
Yeah.
my mom's stuff. And so when it came down to it, I was like, oh, I'm going to Dion, of course. And so she already knew like I was really interested
Hmm.
in fashion. So I would always be like all on her clothes, what she's making. Oh my God. And then it was my turn to like sketch. And at that time, I probably should have gone with it. But I just,
Mm.
it was just a thing I did, and I went on about my life, you know. But then it came back around here probably so many years later,
Wow.
and this is what I do now. But I wish I would have. I really do, because she would have been a great mentor, and she's still
Yeah.
alive. But of course, I don't live there, so
So it's harder now.
yeah. But yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
That happens so many times that can happen where it's like the opportunity is presented in front of you and you don't
Yeah.
see it.
Mm-mm.
Like, but in hindsight, you're like, oh man, I
Hmm.
really could have like had a
Hmm.
really a big blessing come out of that just for
Yeah.
the time. But God has a way of bringing things around again. You get
Hmm.
more. There's more than one chance.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in things that do happen in
Hmm.
their season for whatever reason, and things will still work out. There's
It's
always more
so
than one route.
amazing. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I probably never even thought about that until we you just asked me that.
Oh,
So
I'm
thank
glad.
you.
Yeah, that's another thing we have in common.
Yeah.
Discussion.
Hmm.
Yeah. How do you feel like when it comes to your upbringing? How do you think that kind of influenced you in what you're doing today?
I let Ben do
Um, upbringing.
So
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
so I appreciate my upbringing.
hmm
I feel like it influenced me 100% because just my family and my parents, uh, they were so transparent and so real, and I want to say culture. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So I picked up on stuff at a young age and just influenced me to, I guess, want to bring my ideas to life.
right,
And I just attribute that to my mom being who she was, dope individual, my dad being dope as
hmm
he is, my family, just culture. So a lot of things that I took to at a young age, and I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
they had old souls, old school, and just I always been that person. I've always liked what I've liked from a young age
right.
on up to now. So
I think that's really good too. Is like you've liked what you've liked from an early age. I think sometimes we don't always pay attention to that thing that when you were a child that you were really interested in. Like that is probably the thing as an adult you should be moving towards. Working with children, you can see like they if they're great artists, they can draw. Maybe they like to speak. Maybe they like, maybe they're really into science or building. Like you can see all these things, and it's like I wonder why, as we kind of continue to mature and as the years go by, we kind of steer away sometimes from that. What do you think kind of causes, like in general? Because I feel like that happens with everybody. You might have something as a child that you're interested in, but all of these different outside influences kind of make you second guess sometimes. Yeah.
that. As children, we're fearless. You
Yeah,
know, you're not really afraid of anything.
that's true.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah. You don't know that there are consequences to some of the things that you're gonna do, so
Exactly.
you just do it. It's like, okay, I'll go ahead and jump over that, car, whatever. I don't think I'll break my leg,
Mm-hmm.
but I think when we get older, we think there's there's more consequences like to our actions. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what if I do that and I lose all my money?
Exactly.
What if I do that and nobody likes me? You don't care about stuff when you're a kid,
No,
really. So
that's
our
true.
dreams are just like to the sky because
That's
we
true.
feel like we can do anything. But when we get older, we start feeling that there are boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like there are boundaries.
Hmm.
How do you think, as adults, we can kind of overcome some of those past experiences
Hmm.
that cause the fear that kind of trickles in later on? Because I think sometimes a lot of our childhood experiences can
Hmm.
they can either excel or hinder you from doing what it is that you're supposed to do.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Um, I think unfortunately, and it's not. I don't want to put it on the parents, but in reality, a lot of our parents they didn't see a lot of options.
Mm.
So when we come with all these big dreams, they know doctor, lawyer, school teacher, but when you're talking about creative stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to make you money. That you're not going to be able to do that. How are you going to survive? How are you going to So we kind of take on the fears of our parents,
Mm.
and that is what puts the limits on us
Mm.
or pushes us in another direction where we're sometimes stuck in a career that's not fulfilling to us.
Right, right.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's my thoughts on
yeah.
that.
That's an interesting thought on that one as well.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. It's just that was their upbringing,
Right.
so unless you came from a family that was very cultured or very into the arts and knew that this could do this and that, but a lot of people have not come from that. So.
What do you think would be a good balance for like in today's generation? Because now we have access to so much information, like you can learn on the
Mm-hmm.
computer how to start a business, what it takes to get into that, maybe knowing, other possibilities with your interests. Because that's another thing. As time continues to move on, different vocations and ways of being a part of the music industry or
Right.
fashion or whatever it might be creatively or film, theater. There's so many other opportunities that may or may not have existed prior.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is a good way now that people can try to get more insight on what it is that they really want to do if they don't know already?
I think mentorship programs
Mm-hmm.
in schools. Um, I have this whole love of trying to get business owners, especially here locally,
Mm-hmm.
to partner with schools, to
Right.
partner with youth, to mentor them, to do full out programs
Mm-hmm.
where they're able to see it firsthand, kind
Mm-hmm.
of job shadow.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes that. I think it takes partnership,
Yes.
not just us paying our taxes to the city. I think the real fulfillment is going to come when we actually partner with the youth
With the youth.
that's coming like right behind us. That's trying to figure it out. So.
Do you think there are, for those who are already in it,
Hmm.
already in their creative process, what do you think might be a good way for artists to collaborate more and share more among each other? Because the goal is really to, again, be able to bring each other's visions to life. Because we're creatives,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
you can't. It's almost like you do your art for the people too. It
Right.
has to be expressed. Whatever it is you do, like if it's design, you have to. If you don't sew, you have to find somebody who can sew.
Hmm.
If you sing, you have to sing in front of somebody.
Hmm.
If you DJ, you have to do a set in front of somebody somewhere. If you're into theater, you have to go out there on the stage. Like it has to be that creative expression has to be outward.
Right.
It's not inward. So how do you think artists collectively we could do more in kind of I want to say continue to like push each other forward and collaborate, because I think sometimes now, it's so easy to see what everybody else is doing.
Right.
It can cause people to have different complexes or maybe think,
Hmm.
oh, they're doing it, I can't do it, or they're doing it like this, and or there's
Right.
so much now because everything's so visible.
Right.
Like, but what do you think would be a good way to kind of counteract that mindset that I think sometimes can like rear its head sometimes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I think that you just have to have the mindset that you can learn from anyone, and not actually look at it like a competitive from a competitive standpoint.
Exactly.
It's just more so from a we all sharpening each other. We all it's something that maybe I you got that I don't have.
Right.
That's how we kind of built our relationship because it
Yes.
just it wasn't like a selfish type of deal. Like it was more so like I seen some things that she could help me with, and we never really tried to take the credit for it. It was just more so like you need to do this to enhance
Yeah.
whatever you have going on, and vice versa. So I just think that everybody just needs to be like minded in that way. We can all help each other.
Exactly.
Like even if you're doing the same thing, you're not doing it the same way. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's just no gatekeeping. Just
Collaboration.
collaboration. Yeah.
No competition, no
Mm.
gatekeeping, because it's almost like your fingerprint and your fingerprint are different, even if you do the same thing. It's like your purpose is uniquely different to the next person's purpose, and that's why we're all here. What's some words of advice you would give to someone who is trying to decide if they can take the leap, take the jump, get started in that creative vision, or any endeavor really, because it takes a lot of confidence and and faith and effort to even just put yourself out there at all for any business or anything visionary. What would be some words of advice you would give to someone?
Well, not to sound cliche, but pray.
Yes.
Pray. Certain times in my journey that I wish I would have continued praying about every single thing.
Hmm.
Secondly, um, it's just a canvas. It's no right way to do it. Like you really just have to do it. Don't think. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Just try it. If you fail, I mean, try again. I've failed
Yes.
plenty of times. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But just keep going. And as you keep going, I feel like if you're dedicated, if you're passionate to what you're doing, then you'll get your times where it's like, okay, I know I'm doing this. I know I'm supposed to keep going. You just gotta believe in yourself. That's get out there, like do it,
Do it.
jump.
Um, First, decide if it's something that you want to do. This is really something you want to do. Is this like a long term thing? Do you want this to be your life? And if so, then in every single thing, put God in it.
Yes.
As long as He's a part of it, you don't fail. Even if it veers off to the left, you still not gonna fail. Like it's gonna always come back still on the right track.
Exactly.
So I would say put God in everything that you're doing. Get the basics. Get the basics.
Get
Make
the
sure
basics.
you're operating legally. Um, some things you don't even have to have certain things for. So just look at it. Just make sure you look, you research. Sometimes we think we need to have an LLC. We don't. Not with some things. You don't. You just don't. Um, just talk to somebody. Find a mentor and make sure they are good at what they're doing before you attach yourself to them and let them help you. There's nothing wrong with that. Find someone that will help you. And there are people out here that will help you free. But make sure that you still offer them something in return, whether it's working in their shop or running an errand for them maybe once a week, twice a week, something so that you show your appreciation and they will ride with you to the end. Um, that's basically it. I would say get as much education as you can while you're doing it. Don't wait, just
Right.
do it. But educate while you're working, pray, and get a mentor. Mhm.
Um, yeah, you said something good. Don't skip steps. Like literally, the basics matter, and I've learned that more, especially through DJing.
Yeah.
You know, like put the work in. Don't practice, practice, practice. I mean, even if you're good at something, still practice. That you could always be better, and it's just always something that you learn through practice. So put the time in.
Right.
Like you said, like if you want to do this, you gotta put the work in. Like don't skip steps. Don't wish on the star. Treat it like a 9 to 5. Like work it. That's it's more.
It
You're
is
right.
more than a nine to
Right.
five.
It is.
Actually, even you saying that it's a
Right.
9 to 9. Actually, that's something too I wanted to touch on is when you're starting your journey in creating that life you desire, living it out purposefully, it is not a 9 to 5. You don't clock in and clock out. This is like when you wake up till you go to sleep, and you are solely responsible for everything, and your name is on everything. So it's almost like the best thing to do is make sure that it's like what you want to do, how passionate and how serious you are about it, and to do everything with the utmost integrity, because your name is what is going to carry you into other circles and connecting and continuing to build that brand because we're all our own brand. You know, even before we have the name of the brand, your face is the brand or your action is the brand. So that is so true, but be willing to put in the work. I thank you both for being on here today. That was so fantastic. Thank you guys so much. Oh, tell everybody your websites, and I'm also going to post a link.
On Facebook, you can find me Ben Johnson. On Instagram, you can find me always Benreel, Benreal, or my business page, Benreel Brand, Reel Brand, and um, and on my threw me off. Everything else is always Benreel, Benreal. So that's where you can find me on all platforms.
You can find me on Facebook at Chic Culture Inc. You can find me on Instagram at Command Your Chic. And my personal platforms, Jamice Bentley-Terry, I think, on everything. So you can find me there. And you can also find us, of course, on Cotton Avenue at 446 Cotton Avenue, Suite 1, Chic Culture Inc. And you can just pull up on us.
Thank you both. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for an episode of Real Conversations. See you next time.